There have been a lot of new projections coming about the future demand for AI data centers, and I've seen projections up to 100 gigawatts of new demand on the power system by the year 2030.
There's a lot of different types of data centers. So AI data centers, there's kind of two types. One is for training models and one is for performing predictions using those models, or inference as it's called. And so those are highly energy consuming because they use a lot of GPUs, a lot of cooling, because the GPUs are generating a lot of heat. But both types are necessary to ultimately allow us to have good models and to use them. You can get a result for a Google search in less than a second, but training that model can take weeks or even longer, depending on how large the model is.
Think of a company like Google who uses AI, and you get AI search results back. They need to be able to respond to everybody around the world's different questions that happen, right? And so you can just imagine all the different questions that everyone around the world can ask in numerous different languages, right? So you think of all the information that's just contained in that to be able to come up with a simple answer to a question, right? Just a simple question asked in 100 different languages, right? Think of all the information required to do that. And so that all goes into that training process. That takes in all that data to begin with, and then it's sitting there, it's trained, it's ready to go for when somebody asks that in Japanese, it gives an answer. When somebody asks that in German, when English, whatever the case may be, it has that information ready to go. It just needs to essentially look it up and say, okay, yeah, here's the answer. And so you're essentially pre-computing everything, which is why it's so energy intensive for the training step. And then the inference step is just looking up what you already did. If you go onto Netflix and you see which things that it's recommending for you, that's coming from AI, right? And you had no input into that. And so most people are touching upon it in their daily lives. It's just the question of how much do they touch on it.
We're all figuring out how AI data centers are going to impact the grid and therefore impact emissions. And there's so many things that are simultaneously happening right now that it's really hard to isolate that impact. But one thing's for certain, that's AI is going to continue to increase and be pervasive in our everyday lives. So planning for these data centers is something that's probably inevitable and that we need to do. It's just ideally we're going to do them in a reliable and clean